from, well, he hopes it's a brilliant day for him.
Yeah. Because obviously, you know, he's a legend at the club, but he's been a controversial figure there as well. Maybe not as beloved as a Giggs or a Paul Scholes, perhaps, arguably. But the bottom line is the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, of course they do. Listen, the guy's, he's a world-class player. I mean, he's coming towards the end, but the many United fans will be looking at it and saying, you know what, he's been...
Both teams, especially Everton, who, outside that great start to the season, have been pretty poor. And lost midweek in the Europa League to Atalanta quite heavily. All right, when we come back, it's the second half from the bridge. It's been a great
For the second year in a row, Kia has ranked highest in initial quality by JD. Power, receiving more awards than any other brand. So we're bringing you the top quality celebration event. Visit your Kia dealer and experience the quality for yourself. Go to kia.ca for great offers.
In a friendly competition, when does the mercy rule come into effect? Gillette Fusion Pro Glide with FlexBall technology hugs contours like no other razor and gets virtually every hair. Gillette.
With the first half, and remember too, we talked about like Sanchez is started on the bench as well. Does he have the legs to come in and affect this game? I absolutely believe so. Giroud's on the bench too, Theo Walcott, so that they have a holding mid here. Chelsea looks as though they're making a substitution.
Yeah, so Bakayoko's coming on to shore up that middle of the park. I guess it's an area that Conte thought this team was beaten at in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why he's bringing him on, giving a little bit more bite in the middle there, but you know, it'll be an interesting second half. We'll see how the wing-backs do, because I think the wing-backs will win this game today.
It's Pedro coming off. He did take a knock in that first half as well. Let's take it back now to Stamford Bridge with Peter Jury and Jim Beglin.
Well, it does say something about the depth of talent at Stamford Bridge these days that a number of last season's UEFA Champions League Team of the Year can be left out of the starting side on an occasion such as this, but Tomo Bakayoko was. He replaces Pedro now. That'll mean a slight positional change once opposes for Cesc Fabregas. Chelsea, if anyone, are the team who would require a little change in the dynamic of this game, never mind the personnel in their side.
And it kind of might favour him, Peter, you know, getting in those little pockets of space now between the Arsenal midfield and back three. It's just a lovely little embrace just as we were starting the second half between both number 9s. Just wonder which one will impact more second half.
impacted very well at the start of their respective careers in London. Lacazette and Morata.
Yeah, I bet they're earning a nice few quid.
The prices are high here. Kolasinac with the throw. Last time Arsenal won on this ground, the big scorer was Robin van Persie. Morata has found Fabregas. Willian fizzed it in. Cech was behind it.
Yeah, it was lovely work by Morata to begin with. Ambitious one from Willian. From that angle, Cech looks a very, very big presence.
As Pedro found when he was face to face with him in the first half. Bakayoko. Kante. Willian. Moses. Azpilicueta. Luis, who you see is increasingly bandaged there off the back of the collision he made with the Port at the end of the half. Here's Morata. Feed it through for Willian.
Yeah, well, again, it's lovely footwork to get away from Mustafi.
Now Welbeck can show a clean pair of heels to Azpilicueta and slip it away from Luis. And Lacazette only found Alonso with Iwobi begging for the ball.
Yeah, Ramsey had made the burst. Xhaka's on his own momentarily.
Willian. Morata. Against Koscielny. Awkward bounce for Kolasinac, he didn't handle. In by Kante. Nervy little nudge by Koscielny on Morata there.
Yeah, just a little bumpy.
Azpilicueta. Monreal.
And I mean, it wasn't looking great at one stage for Antonio Conte and the transfer window and the squad in general, but he's had chance to reinforce things a little in midfield, which kind of summed up by the fact that Bakayoko can come in now, Peter. Drinkwater's going to be injured for about a month, they reckon, so, you know, there's good backup there, and also defensively. Christensen coming back off loan, and of course Rudiger.
Yeah, not short of options by any means.
Oh, and you know, you said it in the first half, the Diego Costa situation's kind of been dealt with, and Morata's a good acquisition.
Oddly enough, last year in their title win, September was the awkward month for Chelsea. They didn't win a Premier League game in September. Drew at Swansea, lost here against Liverpool memorably. I think that was a Friday night game. And lost heavily also at Arsenal, which was a bit of a turning point game as history subsequently transpired.
Well, the game in many ways for Antonio Conte.
The change of shape and all that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Chelsea to this point this season for Conte have scored 2 goals, precisely 2 goals in all 4 of their Premier League games. 2 was sufficient in 3 of those 4. Xhaka. Iwobi, Bellerin's on his bike. Lacazette's through the middle. Ramsey well advanced as well. Bellerin. Xhaka.
I think he could have been released much earlier by Iwobi. I mean, in the end, he gave Bellerin nowhere to go.
Kolasinac. Poked out by Luis. Early release by Kante for Morata, who's lent into by Monreal, and this time Nacho Monreal is penalised. They've had a couple of good shoulder-to-shoulder battles, these two.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's good feet. And Mustafi is very aware of not getting too tight because he's been turned by Morata on a couple of occasions. He has used the contact to go down very easily. Morata from Monreal.
Lifted in by Fabregas, flicked on by Alonso. Luis is throwing his boot high and has made unfortunate contact here with Laurent Koscielny.
Well, after all the business between Manchester City, of course, and Liverpool and Sadio Mane, I think he's going to be punished for this as well, Luis.
He's got his yellow card. Yeah. Very quickly to diffuse the situation. That's what referees are advised to do.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of see that this action kind of being outlawed, this kind of overhead kick attempt or bicycle, because it's going to lead to that. If anybody goes with their head and the boot's high, then it has to be penalised. He's a lucky boy, Koscielny, that he hasn't taken it full in the face. I think it was just a little lower.
Absolutely so, Jim. Everything you say makes perfect sense. Of course it does, but
taking skill out of the game.
What a shame if the flying overhead kick near the penalty spot isn't allowed to be executed.
If there's a defensive head anywhere near the boot,
well, there should be, shouldn't there? There always will be.
Well, not always.
Well, I'd sent my centre-half if he wasn't trying to head that away.
Yeah, but sometimes you might just get it with somebody in space. You know, like, remember Rooney?
The Rooney one, yeah. But listen, the most important thing is that Laurent Koscielny is fine and that any footballer is not damaged in a situation like that. Per Mertesacker, obviously a natural replacement if Koscielny can't go on.
He took a blow to the head as well not so long ago, didn't he? He had a cut above his eye.
But if you're telling me that nobody can get airborne in the penalty area and produce a wonderful piece of skill, if he had struck the ball there, Luis, and hit the top corner, we'd be screaming the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't be tried, but I'm thinking in a crowded space like that, if people take it on, I think it's probably going to be an automatic yellow.
As indeed it was, and I understand why. Bakayoko, Morata, Bakayoko, a lot of space for Alonso, who's got away from Bellerin. The blockage was caused by Laurent Koscielny. More power to his elbow.
Yes, which suggests he's made a complete recovery.
Alonso, Cahill. Smartly done. Alonso, Fabregas less precise. Flags up.
Fabregas had just drifted. He was unaware. But this is basically, I think, Peter, the start of the second half, Chelsea responding to what was said by Antonio Conte, to lift things, you know, find a little more energy and commitment themselves in their play. Because in the first half, they didn't go on as they started.
Kolasinac, Xhaka. Had a terrific first half. Xhaka and Ramsey together. Koscielny, here's Ramsey. Rolled in for Lacazette. Kept at bay by Azpilicueta.
I know, it's really good defending by him as well. Just to make sure he's on the cover behind Luis. Just look at him, he senses the danger straight away that the run could be made and Luis could be taken out of the game. And that's excellent from Azpilicueta. Experience and calm.
League Cup week this week for both of these two. Chelsea have a home game against Nottingham Forest. Famous name in the context of that competition, Nottingham Forest. Arsenal also have a home game against Doncaster Rovers. further weekend before they're back in the European action. Chelsea go to Stoke next weekend. And Arsenal have a Monday night game against West Brom. Conte's giveaway. Bellerin, Xhaka. Squeezed it up to Welbeck, who offloaded for Bellerin. Here's Iwobi. Koscielny, Xhaka. Some sharp ball movement here from Arsenal. Monreal, Kolasinac, Ramsey, Welbeck. Danny Welbeck, Aaron Ramsey is beaten to it by Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, again, the idea was lovely, but he just gave the Welshman too much to do. But nicely worked. You just wonder whether that Chelsea have had their kind of bright spell again, and whether Arsenal are going to slowly take over once more, as was the case in the opening 45.
Oh, Morata shoulder to shoulder with Mustafi again, each accusing the other.
Yeah, it just seemed as if Mustafi got a little panicky at one stage, as if he misjudged it, and he certainly seemed to engage Morata a little.
So I shouldn't keep it in.
I think Morata's got him a little kind of nervy, because a few times he's turning. In fact, he's pulling his shirt, isn't he? Morata's pulling his shirt. But Marafi certainly got his arm around him, and then used the right one to try and further push him.
Monreal by Fabregas. And a fixture that tends to wind him up for fairly obvious reasons. The sun's come out. Beautiful day in West London now. Here's Morata. Arsenal's poor away form last season, particularly against the bigger clubs, but actually they went through most of the first half of the season unbeaten away from home. Didn't lose on their travels till they went to Goodison on the 13th of December. What that does do is underline how abject their travelling form has been since then. They've actually lost 9 of the last 14 away Premier League games.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, everybody's been talking about their away form against last season's top 6, of course, as well, which is derisory.
This time Mustafi is penalised for a challenge on Morata. Cahill is making a fairly forcible point to the referee on behalf of the centre forward.
Yeah, well, I think he said something that Michael Oliver hasn't taken kindly to, Morata.
Yes, for Willian, clear of Lacazette. Willian's hit, and he's a long, long way wide.
Yeah, he's across it, and shouldn't have been caught like that. Arsenal.
Now gone. Still nothing to show between Arsenal and Chelsea.
No, but Chelsea have edged ahead possession-wise. They're just getting a little more control on the ball second half, as was needed.
The most recent meeting between the clubs was actually decided, you'll recall, by a penalty shootout. That can't happen today. final meeting between them at Wembley contained 2 goals in the last quarter of an hour. So plenty of time for something to happen. And Arsenal thumped Chelsea last September. All 3 goals were first-half goals.
Well played again from Bellerin.
Kolasinac. Taken back by Luis. By Monreal. Luis again. Morata. Came out of Mustafi. Xhaka. Kolasinac. Welbeck. Kolasinac. Just ran out of pitch.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I thought he was going to be able to set himself up a little earlier to be able to get the shot away when he had some sort of a decent angle, but once he took it there, it was highly unlikely that he was going to squeeze anything in had it got through to Cech, and he ended up doing something he's probably not done in a while.
Well, it's a meaty strike when he does connect properly, said Kolasinac.
As we saw against Cologne.
Yeah. Lifted up by Mustafi. Calmly enough done by Luis. Right by Azpilicueta, held by Willian.
And when you think about Mesut Ozil, Peter, it looks like today Arsenal can say never missed him.
Moses. And now with Ramsey, away by Xhaka. Kante, Fabregas, Willian. Just a throw. We will come back to that subject, Jim, because it's a very interesting one in the context of Arsenal's ongoing season. Moses with the throw. There's Azpilicueta. Luis. Bakayoko. Kante. Moses. Well out by Mustafi. Kante. Moses. Azpilicueta. Charged out by Welbeck. With the sort of work rate
that you don't get from the German.
Underlines the point you're making.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes we've seen it in games. I mean, I felt was the case at Stoke as well that day, that he just becomes a luxury player in the side, and you know, in tough games where you need a high work rate and intensity, you can't afford that.
The best luxuries are functional as well. And Arsenal are about to deploy one of theirs in Alexis Sanchez. Now there's a luxury worth having.
Well, I have a funny feeling that when Arsene Wenger plays that card, Conte is going to say, "I'll raise you with Hazard."
Another coming together of Morata at the centre half, and this time the centre forward is going to see the yellow card. This is becoming a tough one for the referee to adjudicate.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it's the reaction to the assist. I mean, it was just a little nudge on Mustafi, and it's a free kick. But he had a word with him a few moments back when he won the free kick on the other side. So the referee was kind of saying it's an accumulation.
So here is the Arsenal change, which just raises the whole thing a notch. Alexis Sanchez very close to being ready to go for it from the outset in the Premier League. And getting his opportunity now at the expense of Alex Lacazette to go alongside Iwobi and Welbeck in some sort of configuration which will become clear.
I'm a little surprised with Lacazette as well, Peter. I mean, you would think you'd try and keep your goal scorers or your best chance of a goal on the pitch. And I would have thought if anybody was going to make way, it might have been Iwobi.
Well, it does look as though Sanchez is going to play centre forward.
Yeah.
Xhaka surrounded by 3 in blue. He's got a free kick, which is the best he could have hoped for. Ramsey took it quickly. Cahill got across in front of Sanchez. What did we have? We had Renato Sanchez and Davinson Sanchez at Wembley last night. We've now got Alexis Sanchez. We've got just more than a quarter of the game to play at Stamford Bridge, and it's right on the edge here. It's a game that deserves a goal. William.
Cesc, he's really kind of irritated with himself because the hands went on his face and now they've gone up in the air by way of apology. And
well, in the game of football poker that you were just alluding to, he is indeed raising Sanchez with Hazard. Not bad that, is it, to have those sorts of players on the bench?
yeah, neither quite going all in just yet.
So you've got a footballer's understanding of poker.
Hopeless poker player. My face gives away too much.
Insight into the Liverpool team bus of the 1980s. Through by Fabregas. Pursued by Morata. Mustafi closed down by William.
Yeah, well, you're kind of guaranteed that from William. He never stops trying off the ball.
So for Eden Hazard, a second appearance in the Premier League this season. His season has consisted so far of a couple of international appearances for Belgium, the last 12 minutes at Leicester, and the last half hour or so against Karabag in the Champions League, and now Eden Hazard is on in place of William.
I don't think he's delighted about it either, William.
Such a thrill last season, such a disappointment the season before, such a superstar the season before that. That was 2017-18.
Well, if he wants to get this season up and running, this is not a bad opportunity against opposition like this to do it.
And Sanchez looked like a centre forward there.
Yeah. Luis clever, making sure he played it back off him to get the goal kick.
So both sides, after the substitutions, might argue that they're closer to their first 11 than they were before them. And Alex Lacazette might object to that suggestion. Incidentally, Eden Hazard has scored a goal this season. It was the 6th of 9 that Belgium scored against Gibraltar. Fabregas, Morata. Seen by Monreal. Kolasinac, Sanchez. Welbeck's gone ahead of him. Luis is strong enough.
Yeah, I don't know whether the referee could spot it, but he certainly controlled it with his arm, Sanchez. But no harm done.
Welbeck has stayed down. The world and his wife winces when that happens.
Yeah, it looks kind of groin area, come hip.
You have to hope it's not internal. So if he's ripped something again, Danny Welbeck, that would be horrendously bad luck on a guy whose frame does seem to be fragile.
Yeah, his arm went kind of up. Just watch when he goes down, his arm goes up straight away as if he knows that something's wrong.
Time and time again, every time this guy gets wind in his sail, and it starts to happen for him. Poor Danny Welbeck seems to run into an accident. And the very early indications, I would say, are not encouraging, but perhaps that is overly pessimistic.
Yeah, just Murat as well. Batshuayi has been instructed to skip up and down the touchline.
Arsenal were about to throw on Mohamed El Neni. Whether they'll take...
Giroud.
Yeah, well, it would be Giroud, obviously, for Welbeck. Whether they'll hold back the El Neni change as well remains to be seen. But one feels, from a human perspective, profoundly sympathetic to Danny Welbeck. Poor guy just cannot get a run of good luck.
Here. I can identify with that.
And here is Olivier Giroud to replace him, who fairly obviously will play as centre forward, so Sanchez would be displaced from there anyway. And for now, the El Neni change is on hold. Hazard. Moses. Strong challenge from Kolasinac. Lovely twist from Sanchez. And he has been fouled.
Yeah, it was Moses that just caught him as he turned. Sanchez. He still wasn't happy with it.
Sure, Conte thought it was a foul. I mentioned that upcoming Champions League game. It's going to be so interesting to see Conte and Simeone on the same touchline. Fireworks. At least Arsene sits down.
Get the gloves on.
Monreal. Sanchez. Space for Bellerin, also across to meet him, Ramsey. Nibbled at by Bakayoko. Arsenal's free kick.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little clumsy by Bakayoko. He pushes him in the back and just bumps into him before he's getting anywhere near the ball. Giroud can head one, and he's made some impressions coming off the bench.
He's a specialist at it. Giroud starting in the faux offside position, behind the line. Xhaka's take, Mustafi! Arsenal lead at the bridge! Disallowed. No, they don't. No, they don't. The flag has cut short their joy. He seemed to have an unfeasible quantity of space. Off. That's a very good call.
It's a great call. Yeah, it just kind of always a little too high for Giroud, and Mustafi thought he had got the opener.
Well, just a little glimpse of paradise for Gunners fans, but it's paradise lost. Alonso, Chelsea corner, and coming back the other way, and it's picked the whole ground up.
Well, I mean, this is the Chelsea support basically saying, look, that was a fright we can't afford. You know, get this first goal and get it quickly.
Hazard. Beautifully done by Fabregas, snatched out by Xhaka.
Well, Arsenal got away with one there because they were sleeping.
Hazard, Fabregas. Kante. Lifted harmlessly behind.
Great skill by him to actually work the position, and unlucky not to find another blue shirt. And Mustafi, there was wonderful depth on the delivery, and he really thought he'd done it.
Piliqueta, Hazard, played by Monreal, taken down by Giroud, shifted on by Ramsey, and momentarily back by Cahill, well played by Bakayoko. Moses, push on him by Salinach. Well, a point would be a good point for Arsenal based on recent history. Based on performance, he might feel they deserve more. And he is going to make his third change.
Yeah, but I mean, it won't apply to Mustafi and what we just saw at the Chelsea end. But no efforts on goal second half for Arsenal.
Forward by Azpilicueta, again well seen by Mustafi. Swept forward by Bellerin, gathered in by Ramsey. Monreal. Kante going the other way. Hazard skipping clear of Xhaka. Eden Hazard. So close to making a difference.
Well, he doesn't look unfit.
He looks ready. Giroud.
If he could have got that a yard wider of Petr Cech, then we could have been hailing him once more.
Still might be. Pudish's push at his back by Ramsey. Free kick quickly taken. Fabregas has a hit. Off target. So here comes Mohamed El-Neni in place of Alex Iwobi. It's a relatively conservative change, you would think.
I mean, this is what he's just brilliant at, the close control with the composure and the turning ability, and it's just very difficult to stay with him. And he'll probably be a little disappointed himself that he didn't steer it where he would have liked. Top corner.
Sanchez.
That was Channing Tatum we got a little glimpse at there, Peter. And Mark Strong.
Showbiz down King's Road. Koscielny. Ramsey. Giroud. Ramsey. Azpilicueta down errantly by El-Neni. Snatched back for him by Xhaka. Snatched back for Chelsea by Kante. He's got Morata wide and Hazard through the middle.
Really just get it to the feet of Hazard.
He will seek to do the rest. Fabregas. Alonso. Bakayoko. Better.
That's lovely.
On by Alneni, set back by Giroud. Xhaka. Bellerin. Ramsey wide. Bellerin couldn't find him. Koscielny changes direction. Kolasinac. Sanchez. Shaped in towards Giroud. Extremely well dealt with by Cahill. Now Hazard, Morata up alongside. One-time tackle from Koscielny. Followed up by Bakayoko. Spread for Alonso. Tackle low on Koscielny. Then Bellerin got into potential trouble. The Czech has to clear. Hazard. And then he did enough.
10 attempts first half for Arsenal, Peter, none second.
But a performance incomparable with the last one they put in away from home in a premium fixture like this.
Totally agree.
Compare this to Anfield.
Totally agree. I mean, if it stays like this would be success for Arsenal, because defensively they've been much more astute.
Kolasinac. Against Moses. Is there a sting in the tail of this London derby? Moses slipped, and then he found Sanchez. Sanchez only found Luis. Xhaka. Free kick given, free kick quickly taken for Kolasinac. Sanchez. Kolasinac. Xhaka. Bellerin. And then he thought he got a toe on the ball. He got a whole lot more on Eden Hazard, and he's getting booked.
Yeah, it's not a difficult one, this. I mean, Hazard just got his body in the way, and then he was always going to catch him.
Bakayoko. Fabregas. Hazard. Better. Hazard. Morata. N'Golo Kante. Bakayoko. Come last off Ramsey, it's a corner.
Yeah. A good defence by Arsenal. You know, we've seen the wing backs go forward at times, but generally they've been happy to sit in.
Last 5 minutes. Fabregas plays it in. Giroud shifts it out, but not very far. Hazard. Drifted towards Fabregas. Fabregas with a fizzed flat cross, which did take a nick on the way through, and it's a corner.
Yeah, a little glance. I mean, immediately he was on the case, appealing to the officials that it glanced off Alexis Sanchez.
David Luiz there, turning to the crowd behind the goal and imploring them to implore the team to greater things over these last 4 critical minutes. Fabregas takes, headed out by Mustafi. Moses into the crowd. Kolasinac made the block.
Yeah, Moses was capable of opening up a way, but not then.
The Red Sea didn't part. Fabregas. Hazard. A driven cross, and Czech did have to apply a fingertip. Hoofed out by Kolasinac. Sanchez keeping Azpilicueta honest. Whoa. Kolasinac flew in, Luis flew in. Referee has gone to his back pocket and he has shown David Luiz a straight red card. He had already seen a yellow, but that was not a second yellow. That was straight red. That'll be a 3-game ban. A disdainful look behind him from David Luiz, but it was a challenge that could have done damage. Indeed, might have done damage.
Yeah, well, I mean, this guy is a strong chap, Kolasinac, and you would hope he'll come through this. But I don't know why David Luiz kind of waited and waited, because he knew Alexis Sanchez was trailing him, and he could have actually played it upfield, and it was almost as if he kind of waited for the opportunity to do this. Could have played it, took a touch, and then last minute he's just kind of throwing himself in, and I'm not sure that he meant it to be that bad. I'm sure to the referee it looked worse. Yeah. And his studs have caught him on the foot, haven't they? So
it was ankle high, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's avoidable. You know, he didn't have to get himself in that muddle, David Luiz. It should have been released, and he ends up doing that.
Conte seeking further explanation. Referee is not necessarily obliged to offer that explanation now, but
invitation to Arsenal to have one last huge surge.
See whether Chelsea go with a third centre-half or revert to a back four. Morata is being sacrificed in all of this.
Got to be Christensen.
And Christensen is that third centre-half. Christensen, who was a very early substitute for Chelsea on the opening day when Cahill was sent off. Very late this time. Kolasinac. Ramsey. Out by Cahill. El Neni. Monreal. Sanchez. Monreal. El Neni. Sanchez. Giroud. Out by Alonso. Out by Bakayoko. Hazard. Free kick against him, and that will infuriate Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, he's not reacted much himself, Hazard, but Bakayoko and Fabregas were fuming that this was awarded.
Arsenal have a stoppage time power play now. A man up.
Fabregas got to be careful he doesn't get himself a yellow.
Dipped in by Xhaka, then by Cahill, snapped out by Alonso. Back in by Xhaka, back out by Moses. Monreal beaten off it, Hazard's on his way. Kolasinac crept up. We're into 4 stoppage time minutes. Kolasinac has been booked for that. Hazard, what a special ball if Alonso keeps it alive, and so he does. Face to face with Bellerin. Hazard. Fabregas. Azpilicueta. Tamely yielded free kick. He's just been broadcast and actually needs to walk away.
No, he's gone for a spray. I think people thought he was going for a card, but he's just gone for a spray.
But here's a chance for Chelsea to nick it.
Yeah, I mean, the second yellow is kind of never warranted there.
Having applied that spray, Michael Oliver asks Alexis Sanchez to retreat behind it. The only man in the Arsenal wall. Fabregas plays it in, check claims. For Sheldon. Super ball for Ramsey. Christensen across to me. Of stoppage time played, 2 still to play. Giroud. Rodri, Ramsey. Good challenge by Bakayoko. It's what you need. And you're down to 10. That's such a silly push from Bellerin. That's a card. He is indeed formally cautioned. Subtle it was not. Forward by Kolasinac. Taken down by Sanchez, who was wrestling with Christensen. Michael Oliver was close by, and looking untoward. One more launch, perhaps.
I think he was forcing that. Knew the ball was gone, just couldn't wait to get to ground in the hook.
Quince. In the end, not a goal between them, a point each. A bit of a growl, a bit of a scowl. They're sending off right at the end, which is what will attract the headlines. David Luiz flying in at the expense of Kolasinac, but there wasn't really enough time for Arsenal to capitalise. They had the ball in the net through Mustafi, but that was ruled offside. And so a clean sheet each, which pleases the keepers. The final score in the London derby at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, a really fun 90 minutes. 0-0 the final. We'll wrap it when we come back.
Mr. Cool Uncle tried the birthday bounce castle. Got a back strain. Yikes, what a shame. Robax dual action formula relieves pain and relaxes tight muscles.
It's time for the Polaris factory authorized clearance. The year's best deals on the world's best-selling ATVs and side-by-sides. Now is the time to buy with rebates up to $5,000. Get started at Polaris.com.
Technology investing in the glitz and glamour of Sin City.
The city's very excited to finally have another sports franchise. As a guy who loves the city of Las Vegas, it's a big deal.
It's a unique twist on the business of sport.
The evolution of technology in sport is so important, primarily because technology is changing the world around us.
When I got my first check, I asked my dad, where the hell's my money? He says, you moron, you have to pay taxes.
Sportsnet and BMW present the business of sport.
The game plus feeling breathless. The game plus VIP access.
The game plus so much more.
Game Plus gives Rogers customers exclusive access to VIP experiences and more with the sports you love.
What if there was a paint that could reawaken something old? Because it could form a strong bond, regardless of age. If a paint could give any surface stunning new life, is it still paint? Regal Select Exterior from Benjamin Moore.
It's time for the Polaris factory authorized clearance. The year's best deals on the world's best-selling ATVs and side-by-sides. Now is the time to buy with rebates up to $5,000. Get started at Polaris.com.
Apparently, a lot of people don't know that Buckley's comes in a pill that provides effective pain and fever relief while fighting your other cold and flu symptoms. Thanks to those people, I have to wear this suit now. Gone are the days of my comfortable starch